Okay, so we're going to talk about the rules of surfing, and it's funny. People look at surfing, go, oh yeah, it's just like a free activity and stuff. Man, we've been having hassles and stuff in the water since the days of the ancient Hawaiians. It's odd. We're human beings. It's such a wonderful thing to surf, but it's kind of finite. Oh, there's always lots of waves. Well, there are always lots of waves. The great Tuka Hanamoku, he said, this great thing about surfing is always another wave. But you never think so if you're in the water. You know, and it's a good day of waves, and everybody wants that one wave, that best wave. You know, it's kind of strange. Human beings like that, you know. But there are rules to it, and it's really worthwhile you knowing those rules early on in your surfing and sticking to them. So we're going to talk firstly about what happens in the whitewater. Some of you may be already learning just in the whitewater. You haven't moved to paddle out yet to the unbroken wave. So we're going to have a look at what can happen in the whitewater. And we got a lot of injuries there, yeah? So imagine, here's a beach. Yeah, that's the land. Here's a line of white water coming in, and here's another line of white water coming in, and here's another line of white water coming in, you know, just a like flat beach, great fun, you know. And often you'll find surfers walking out. They're walking out, they've jumped over a wave, they have paid no attention to anybody, and they walk straight into the line of somebody paddling. You know, it's crazy, like driving a car, you know, wouldn't you kind of look if there's something coming the other way, but they don't do it, you know. So as you're walking out with your board, be aware of the other surfers. They're riding on this wave, they're coming towards you, they're learning as well, and you can guarantee that a lot of these surfers will not have been taught how to hold on to our boards. Now in Sri Lanka at our school and in Lanzarote, it's one of the big things we teach you. Imagine you haven't got a leash, you've got to hold on. But these people, you don't know them, they may just fall off straight into you. So that can be avoided by that surfer making sure that they don't walk in the path of the surfer that's riding in on the wave. But it's the other way around too. You know, what if I've got my paddler, they haven't caught the wave yet, and they've decided to turn around and paddle when somebody's walking by there? Bang! We've got another collision situation by there. It could have been avoided. You don't need every wave. So somebody's in front of you going, no, okay, lead it out. And you'll often see this happens in our classes, you know, especially when you've got friends and family go, oh, let's go, and they kind of go together. I used to do it with my family when I was a kid on the little wooden boards, you know. No, they're big old things, surfboards. You can fall off and land on each other. Just stop each other's rides. Here's our surfer here. Here's our surfer here. They just collide and hit each other. Okay. Next thing you've got to think of is the surfer walking out. And we'll talk about this, about the unbroken waves. They're walking out, dragging their board by the leash. They're a real danger to everybody. That leash is flying around, and they're going to get the leash around their hand one day, and that hurts. That little thing on the back of your surfboard that connects to the tail, it's called a rail saver. That's what it's for. It's not a handle. Don't use it. And I know many of you will be. If you're learning, you think that's where you can hold on to the board. Leave it alone. Hold the rails. That's what your arms are for, is to hold those rails and jump through. Don't walk out with the board backwards. Again, people do this. What they'll do, they've turned the board backwards. They walk that way. They see the wave. They turn around. They go. They haven't checked who was in front of them. So in the white water, start to learn to communicate. You know, talk to that person. Hey, you going? Yeah, go. Give people waves. In this zone now, start to learn what will be really useful for you later on, is that you talk to each other and you give people waves. You give people a right of way, you know. I know a school in Spain, and, you know, the Canaries is pretty tough for kind of localism and stuff. They actually teach the kids. I wouldn't do it myself, but they've got an instructor, and he stands in the corner of their little zone, and another one's in the water helping the kids. And one kid at a time goes round the instructor, takes the waves, because they've got to learn it's like that kind of like pattern. Really difficult on a busy day on many European beaches to operate those kind of rules for sure. But just look after each other. And even if you don't know who they are in the water. Okay, simple kind of rules there, yeah? So let's look at the unbroken wave, because that's what we want to do. I always ask my people on my courses, what's your image of you surfing? Now, some people will say, oh, I just want to stand up. And you kind of question, no, honestly, what do you really want to do? And they go, oh, I want to go across an unbroken wave. I go, okay, take it a bit further. They go, oh, I want to get tubes, which is, when I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do. You're going to ride unbroken waves. So let's look very briefly at the terminology of our unbroken waves, the names for it, because you'll use this language. I'm going to draw a wave here. Here's a wave breaking. It's coming over. Now, not all waves has what we call peaks, but this is kind of the peak. I mean, in America, they call it an A-frame. It's not a bad word. The peak of the wave coming over. They are seagulls. You got that for scale. Going that direction is going right. Now, you might be looking at the surf and they're going to your left, but actually they're on a right. We call our wave direction from surfer to beach. So that's a right, that's a left. Okay. The peak coming over. This is going to turn into the white water. It's white water kind of already, and it's going to roll into shore. Okay. This part, the lip of the wave. And we'll talk about it later. There's a lovely maneuver called an off the lip. Turn comes right up, hits that. In there, in the best of all possible worlds, is a tube. You know, this part you come in and come out, and no matter what people say, it's still the most amazing experience a human being can have. Just stand in that flipping vortex of water, come flying out. Just amazing. That's why it's still probably our highest pointing maneuver in professional and amateur competition surfing. This part here, the whole of this, the wall or the face of the wave. This part here, the lower part there and there. Most waves have kind of got a lower part and they're rising up. That's called the shoulder. There's a beautiful maneuver called a cutback that's done on the shoulder. And that's the funny thing. You think that surfing has got lots of different types of terminology for maneuvers. Well, yeah, in aerials, which are now really happening, yeah, slob grabs, lean airs, you know, there's so many different types of names. But in our basic maneuvers, there's the bottom turn. The surfer comes down the bottom turn. This area here is kind of called the flats or the trough. We don't use that word much. But here's the surfer, they do a bottom turn. They may do a top turn, that's just like a carve. Or they do a bottom turn, yeah? They come up and they hit the lip, bang, off the lip, come back down. They come down, they make their top turn, they carry along here, and they do a cut back. These maneuvers are pretty simple. Maybe this is a real small wave and the surfer goes at the top of it there, you know, a little small wave, and comes back down off the top of the wave on the white water. That's called a floater. So again, just have a look at your surf videos and your films and you'll see these basic maneuvers. First maneuver you've really got to perfect, other than your jump up, is a good bottom turn. You know, then a top turn. You know, then a cut back. You know, it's quite a simple progression. Let's go back to our wave. Let's see how these rules work. Seagull, seagull. I'm going to have a surfer here. It's a girl. She's been surfing a little while. She can ride across unbroken waves. And she's here in this part of the wave. And she's paddling. She hasn't stood up yet, but she's paddling for that wave. She's really paddling hard. Down here is a guy. He's not been surfing so long. But he's a big guy. And he's got a 9'4" longboard. And he can catch anything. And he's actually paddling for this wave, but he's got up. He's up and he's riding. Now, it's pretty obvious that both of them are going to go right. You know, if they're experienced enough, they don't want to go straight. You might do that at the start, but these people are going right. So I often ask the question with my classes here and Sri Lanka, whose wave is it? If there's such a thing as wave possession, it kind of is. I would say 70% of the people, especially if they don't know the rules of surfing, they'll give it to the rider who is on their feet already. And they are completely wrong. It is her. She has the right of way. The rule book says the surfer nearest the white water has unconditional right of way. Okay? Why? Well, firstly, she's put herself into the most, what we say, critical part of the wave. Who's going to go fastest when she's got the wave? She is. She's going to fly. She'll probably pass this guy. The worst thing about it is they're going to have somewhere a collision. He has done this awful thing called dropping in, even though he was standing up first, okay? Okay. What could she do while she was paddling? Maybe he was paddling, she was paddling. She could call him off. Hey, 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 hey. Now, many people, when they're learning, they drop in because they simply don't look. They get excited about the way, oh, this is a great one. You know, they should be going, oh, somebody's got it, and pull out of it. So one of the big things about dropping in, if they're both paddling together, she still has right of way. If he jumps up before her, she still has right of way. Okay? And what could happen is, maybe it's a shallow reef break. And this line that he's taken has forced her into the rocks. Maybe she spent 20 minutes like he did trying to paddle out, and now he's dropped in on her, pushed her onto the inside, and she's got another 20-minute paddle out. Dropping in is bad, and you'll do it. You will do it. You talk to everybody, and everybody does it. So the first thing you got to do is not do it, and you got to say sorry when you do it. Now, if you're a beginner, intermediate, and you've done it out of ignorance, expect this person, you do it a couple of times, they're going to say something to you. But if you know you've done it, yeah, the first thing you do is apologize. Sorry. Okay? You do it 2 or 3 times, expect somebody to start saying things to you, you know, no matter who you are. Okay, let's go back into the girls' situation. I used to coach a lovely European finalist, Sarah Whiteley, a great surfer, and she's pretty tough. And she'd say to people, do you drop into me because you're just stupid or because I'm a girl? You know? So watch out, girls. You see guys, they still will just drop in you because you're a girl. It's happened to me recently with one of the girls I coach. So with this starts to cause a lot of problems. Now, if somebody drops in on you, don't freak out at them. Apologize. But if you start dropping in on people regularly, expect them to get cross with you. Okay, it's dangerous. That's one of the biggest things about it. You're not just ruining the waves. Often, you will see this surfer paddling and that surfer's paddling, and just by that surfer paddling, they actually bring down the wave. They don't take the wave, but they ruin the ride. You go to serious surf spots, and you're paddling, and this surfer, by paddling the same time as this one, is called shadowing. I don't like shadowing. It puts me off. So I'm coming in, and I got somebody there, and going, whoa, flip thing, you know? Don't shadow. Many breaks in the world, you start shadowing, they'll tell you to get out the water, you know? So there are distinct rules. And the more serious that wave gets, the more these rules, they have to be stuck to all the time. But the more important, and you'll see them happening. You go to any serious surf spot, and actually, go to a serious surf spot, you'll see less drop-ins than you see on a kind of beginner and intermediate wave. Okay, that's dropping in. You don't want to do it, you will do it. Sometimes just tell the surfer what they did, politely. And you say, do you know you dropped in on me then? Oh, well, I was standing up first. No, it's the surfer nearest the white water. Oh, the classic you'll hear, I didn't see you. You just say, yeah, I know that. So next time, have a look. Have a look down the line for the other surfer, okay? Just spread a bit of the knowledge, because they may not know this stuff, you know? Now, here's another scenario. Here's our surfer here. Here's a paddler. This paddler is heading out. This surfer's going to ride here. What does this paddler try and do? They try and go around the wave. They don't want to go into the white water, so they go around that way. Bang. There's a very nasty collision. You can have some bad collisions with this one, but this one here, surfer riding fast, hitting paddler, you know, the nose is going to hit, the fins, whatever. It can be a really bad one. So I always say to my classes, what should this surfer have done? And it's pretty obvious. Do that way. I had the classic the other day of this, you know, and you know, okay, you get a really top surfer. Sometimes you don't know quite where they're going. Just go for the white water. You've done all that you can do. Just paddle for that white water. And if somebody's done that for you, try and register in their head. Say, oh, thanks for that. When you see them afterwards, yeah, thanks for giving us space, you know. You're out on a big day surfing, you're paddling in, you see somebody way down there, you're going, oh, no. Make your bottom turn, they're not there, they've headed in. I mean, you may not see them for half an hour. And it's, thanks, man. That was really nice of you, you know. So, many things can go wrong here. I do not like to see people using the leash as a safety device. There are lots of ways. Watch the Pro Tour where people have to throw their leash and dive. But we're not on the Pro Tour, and a lot of you are in the biggest of waves. Hang on to your board. You will be surprised what you can get through. But the surfer paddling out, who just throws their board away and dies, they're leaving a big, hard object in the way of the rider. You see the surfers, and they actually try and swim through. And then if you're swimming through, or you're continually throwing your board away to get out, especially on an average day of surf, you shouldn't be out there. Learn your techniques better, get more confident, and then go out there. Because throwing boards away can be really dangerous. Watch them. People, they're paddling, and they just go, oh, I don't like this. They throw. They have no idea who's behind them. Watch any experienced surfer. If they're in the crowd, they'll check. Anybody there? Then they may let their board go. But hang on. You'd be amazed with a good roll or a good duck dive what you can get through. The big thing about this is communication. Now imagine this surfer. Let's go back to the girl. She knows she's going to miss it. So she shouts down, yeah, go, 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 come on. You know? Here, in the Canaries, they're very tough in the water, but if you're not going to catch it, they'll shout you, venga, venga, go, go, go. Give you that wave. So it's all about communication. You know, you've got somebody in the water, and you just sort of speak to them, hey, where you from? I mean, you're going to go someplace where people don't want to chat, but a lot of the time at your level of surfing, if it's kind of beginner, intermediate, you talk and you build a friend, and that makes things safer. You know, one of the big things about good surfing crews, they watch out for each other. You know, so you're with your buddy, talk to that other person. You know, yeah, it was a great ride you had. Oh, a heavy wipeout there. You know, that's fun. You know. Now, there's a lot more to it than this. There is more to the rules of surfing. There's other things going like snaking. We're not going to go into that now. There's other stuff. Go down your beach on a good day. Watch the better surfers, see how they behave. See the bad guys, the bad girls, the bad good girls, the bad girls, you know, whatever. Just watch how it all works. And just be well-mannered. When you paddle out on that perfect surfing holiday, and that group of surfers are sitting right out there, do not expect to paddle right into the middle of them and take the best of the waves. Be respectful, take your time, and that's how you get the best of waves. If people accept you, start talking, stick to the rules, and you have a lot of fun. You know, that's the big thing about it. Thanks.